On this episode of Negative Modifier, we'll be playing the game Deltagreen. Deltagreen is a mature tabletop RPG that tackles various dark and unsettling themes and topics that some listeners may find traumatizing, harmful, or generally uncomfortable. Listener discretion is advised. Agent Query, Agent Quantity, Agent Quickdraw, you all slowly regain consciousness to the methodic beep of heart rate monitors, something pumping something, the far-off sound of a PA system cracking or something like that. Your nostrils are flooded with this smell of disinfectant and sterility, and as you try to open your eyes, there's just a harsh white light all about you. There's also a faint ringing in your ears that rapidly fades as you kind of come out of a fog of some kind. You all come to in a hospital room that you do not remember ever going to. As you look around, a couple of kind of alarms seem to go off, or it's not alarms, but kind of like alert monitors something to kind of kick off, and a nurse runs in and goes, "Holy crap, you're awake finally," and then runs out, and a early 40s doctor comes in with a clipboard and looks at all of you and goes, "Well, welcome back to the world of the conscious. Quite the gas explosion you all managed to survive. Some of your friends were not quite so lucky. You've all managed to pass by this with a couple minor injuries, couple scrapes and bruises, but nothing life-threatening. You've been here for 3 days. Took a little bit of time to get out of the rubble, I guess, and whatnot. Damnedest thing, that explosion at the old folks' home. Any questions? My name is Dr. Ashford Rodriguez, by the way. I've been taking care of you. You're admitted to the ER. You're at Central Florida Medical of Blancheville. CFM Blancheville is typically known. Any questions? We couldn't find any identification or kind of people to contact for you. So once we got you stabilized, it was kind of just a game of waiting for you to wake up. Kind of gestures to like a little box in the room on a shelf. Your personal effects in there, some cell phones, we kind of pulled off of you. You got incredibly lucky for what it's worth. Your friends or colleagues, whatever the right phrase is, not so much. Any questions? This can be quite jarring. I'm very sorry if you probably have a lot of questions. Please be orderly and kind of don't rush yourself. You've miraculously survived a quite traumatic event. There was an explosion. Again, you got unbelievably lucky. We got you here as fast as you could. The staff at Emerald Estates did a surprisingly good job, despite them typically dealing with old folks. Do you remember your names? Anyone I can contact for you to come get you, or let them know that you're okay?
Agent Query just kind of raises like a hand, kind of not like the schoolyard, but just kind of lifts it up off the bed. Are you? And she kind of makes a triangle shape with one of her fingers. Dr.
Rodriguez looks at you very confused, returns the gesture. I'm not sure what this is. Are you aware that you're making a triangle symbol with your hands right now?
Oh, no. Oh, I don't.
Kind of rushes over to you, kind of like shines a light in your face with some first-rate inspections. It's quite all right to be confused. You've survived quite a shock. I'm sure you had several concussions and auditory issues. Again, you were unconscious when you came in. There was some blood loss. We've got you all patched up. Honestly, should be in worse shape given everything, but kind of like does a cursory inspection. You seem to be fine, though. Your life signs and vitals are, as far as people that were involved in an explosion, as best we can tell, more or less perfect.
All right. That's good to hear. What else did you pull out? Is there any news? Could you turn on the news, actually?
I can in a few minutes, given that you've just woken up from, a coma, technically. We try and assess you first. It can kind of mess the diagnostic process. Do you remember your age, your name, or anything like that? Anything we can use? Like, no pressure, just trying to assess where you are, looking for signs of amnesia, brain failures, et cetera, et cetera. Sorry, this has all been a stressful couple days with you three. Not that you've been stressful, but we don't get a lot of explosions here in Blancheville, for what it's worth. Although there was that slew of gunshots a couple days ago, but you weren't involved in that. That was before you got to Florida, as Emerald Estates said. Would you like your cell phones? I can get those for you in a few minutes once we're kind of sure you're fine. We've got some basic rudimentary kind of questions just to gauge your cognitive functions right now. Let's start with name. But what's your first and last name?
I want orange Jello and a hot dog.
We can get to that in a minute once we're sure you don't need to be rushed into surgery for anything. Again, we haven't found anything, but also we were trying to stabilize you and kind of keep you in kind of good condition. Again, I need you to answer these questions so we can kind of assess if there's any risk or kind of evidence of brain damage. Again, I need your name, first and last, and age, if you can remember it.
That's great. And then I just kind of pretend to go back to sleep.
Okay, that's a tad worrying. You other two, can either of you two tell me your name and age, just anything about yourself that I can kind of use to confirm that there's no permanent brain damage or we shouldn't be looking for any type of cognitive damage or anything like that? Do you know what state you're in right now?
Depends who's asking. Who the fuck are you?
As I said, my name is Ashford Rodriguez. I work here at CFM Blancheville. Do you remember what CFM stands for?
No, it's been a while. I just woke up from a fucking coma.
I just said it. I'm simply checking for short-term memory damage of some kind. Do you remember what state you were in?
Last I remember, I think we were in Florida.
You are in Florida. That is correct. Excellent.
Look, I don't. How long have we been here?
You were brought in for 3 days. You've been here slightly over 3 days at this point. I just need to do these tests, and then we can move forward with this. I can give you your cell phones once we just do some basic kind of diagnostics just to make sure you're all there. And when we don't find anything, because you seem to be medically fine, we can discharge you, and you can go about your way then. I just need to do these tests, and then we can start the process of either getting you out of here, getting someone to come pick you up. We're just trying to make sure you're healthy. I understand you've been involved in a great trauma, and I'm trying to gauge if this increased level of paranoia is a byproduct of that or some type of confusion or it could be a variety of things. I just want to make sure that you are all right. If I can tell you anything about me that maybe will put you at ease, so this will help this process, please let me know. If you don't want to talk to me, I can invite one of the nurses in and you can talk to them. If another doctor you'd be more comfortable answering these questions to, I can arrange for that as well. We're just trying to make sure you're all right so we can move forward.
Look, I just want to get out of here. So
I want to get you out of here too. Help me help you.
Fine, whatever. What do you need?
How old are you?
35.
I've checked some stuff on a form. What state do you currently live in?
California.
I've read some stuff in the form, nods his head at that. And what is your last name?
I would rather not share that.
I understand. Can you explain why you do not want to share that?
I'm on assignment, and I'm not exactly supposed to speak on that, so I'd rather not.
Kind of frowns and writes something down on the piece of paper and kind of turns to Ancient Quick Draw. Are you willing to answer my questions right now?
Sure.
Do you know what state you're in?
Yeah, Florida.
All right. Excellent. Do you remember the town you are currently in?
No, not exactly. Sorry, I wasn't exactly paying attention to your conversation.
There, I understand completely. Could you give me your age?
Yeah, 47.
Okay, I read something down, nods at that. And can you give me your last name?
I assume I have various aliases I can just draw upon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Last name is Stewart.
All right, kind of nods at this and writes something down. Goes, okay, excellent. That matches against the ID we found on your person when you were brought in. Excellent. What is your home state?
Michigan.
I have nods at this. Excellent. Combined with the scans and these basic questions, you seem to be just fine. Incredibly lucky, but just fine. Kind of turns back to Agent Quantity. Any chance you'd want to tell me your last name now?
Fine. Williamson.
I have notes. Excellent. That matches the ID you were brought in with as well. Excellent. Kind of turns to Agent Query. Your friend there, is she always this difficult?
Don't know. Hardly know her.
Fair enough. Talks in Agent Query's direction. Miss, would you be willing to part with your age now by any chance and or home state?
She's asleep, air quote. You can't see me make air quotes right now, but she's asleep, air quotes.
He nods at this and kind of goes, okay. Grabs a TV remote and hands it to Agent Quantity, and then kind of goes over to the box and grabs 3 cell phones and kind of like hands them to Agent Quantity. I assume you can kind of sort out whose phone is whose.
Yeah, I can figure that out.
Excellent, excellent. I will be back in 10 minutes. I have to go record my findings. Hopefully we can get at least you 2 out of here today. I do have to request that you do not converse too much with your kind of gestures, Agent Query, with our less cooperative patient. Again, I'm very sorry. These are basic kind of tests. I'll be honest, if we want to get you home as fast as possible, again, I understand this is all confusing, and I'm sure a variety of other things, but yes, I'll be back in a few minutes. One of you asked for food. I'll arrange for food for you 2, and kind of like taps his clipboard on Agent Query's bed. If you can give me some answers, we can probably get you some food and hopefully out of here. Your friends are doing just fine. And he leaves at that point. You got 3 cell phones with you and a TV remote.
I'll look for mine, and I'm assuming I find it in the bunch.
Oh, yeah, it's easy. You know which one's yours, yeah.
So I'll grab mine. I'll hand the other 2 over to Quick Draw so Quick Draw can grab theirs. And then once Quick Draw grabs theirs by process elimination, I'll just place the 3rd one next to Query.
All right. Do you open up the phone and turn it on and stuff?
Yeah, I'm going to power on my phone.
All right, cool. So goes to the boot cycle, and you immediately get like a collection of texts, all from an unlisted number, that say like, what the fuck happened? Were you involved in the explosion? Respond, et cetera, et cetera. And then there is a phone message from a different number from the Central Sun Hotel. You listen to the voicemail?
Yeah.
Hello there. We've had your package at the front desk for 2 days now, and we haven't seen you come to the lobby, and we were hoping you'd come pick it up soon. The box marked ATF is starting to raise a variety of questions with the staff, and a bunch of people getting uncomfortable with it. We understand that you're probably busy, but with the explosion at that Emerald Estates, and well, again, the box marked ATF, we're really hoping you come by and pick this up soon. It's there at the front desk when you need it. We still have your room reserved and everything for you. We thank you for choosing to stay at the Central Sun Hotel, and yeah, please come get this box sometime soon.
So, who's making the tough call?
Tough call to what?
Agent Query just kind of pipes up from her bed. I hope y'all gave aliases.
Yeah, well, you think I'm a fucking amateur? Look, who's calling our boss? Because that's not going to be a pretty phone call.
Yeah, that's not my problem. One of you guys can figure that shit out.
We kind of fucked up our one job.
Well, that one job kind of fucked us up severely. I mean, look at us. And I just kind of gesture to the room. Half of us are dead, I'm going to imagine.
Yeah. I mean...
Actually, I don't need to imagine. The images are actually clearly just kind of pressed upon my brain.
Yeah. Are you Brawn? What's your...
Oh, God. Epsilon. Query.
Was that Brain or Brawn? I'm sorry. I was just an explosion.
Fair game. Brain.
Yeah, okay, you're fine. You're more valuable than me, at the very least.
Weren't you the one that was just distributing guns like the Salvation Army? Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that, like, I'm going to kind of stand behind you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because I now have to think about how I'm going to leave this hospital.
Oh, sounds like they're going to keep you here until they get some information out of you. I don't know, make up some bullshit, and then we can just leave. But
well, unless there are cops outside, I don't think they can leave. So, I mean, I don't really know. I'm not exactly a lawyer, but
it's a hospital. As long as I can get myself some pants and my tits aren't out, I'm pretty sure I could walk out. Let me see. Agent Query just kind of will assess what kind of things she's hooked up into, and will attempt to search the room for any kind of clothing that is beyond whatever hospital gown she's in.
I mean, you're hooked up to a normal IV and a heart rate monitor, kind of basic just monitoring equipment, and what you would hook an unconscious person up to kind of keep them going until they regain consciousness. Like, not quite a feeding tube type of situation, but they have other ways of keeping you kind of fed and whatnot in this circumstance. Maybe they were capable of doing some feeding or something while you were unconscious. Who knows type of thing. But yeah. You can see a box with a date and kind of like patient numbers on it on a shelf in the room. Like it's big enough to house clothing and probably anything you had on you at the time.
Right on. I'm going to imagine my clothes are blood soaked. So I would like to try to find something clean. Although I will check that box. Are all of my clothes blood soaked and dirty?
You gotta try and stand up?
Yes, I would like to try to stand up.
All right, give me an athletics.
Here we fucking go. That is an 86 out of 30% failure.
Predictably, seeing as you were in an explosion and have not walked in 3 days, your initial exiting of the bed is not great. You kind of slump to the ground real hard, but you do eventually kind of manage to get your legs working again and kind of stand up. You do regain normal motor functions after a few seconds. Your first movements are a little bit jerky as you kind of start to walk towards the box. In doing this, though, a series of alarms go off and a nurse rushes in and looks at you and goes, "Oh, no, please get back in bed. I'll help you." Kind of puts an arm around you, so it's guiding you back towards the bed. I understand your impulses. I'd want to be out of here too. I'm sure you're confused.
Actually, you're treating me against my will. I'm a Christian Scientist, so you need to let me go.
Kind of rolls her eyes at this. I'll get the paperwork.
Yeah, go.
All right, she kind of like gets you back in bed, then kind of angrily huffs out of the room. And after a couple minutes, the doctor from earlier comes back in. Our third is awake, and apparently you're denying treatment. I don't advise that, given how you found yourself to be a guest here, but kind of flips the clipboard around, has a form on it. If you insist, we're not trying to hold you or anything like that. You're free to leave, I suppose. We, again, don't recommend it, and I really wish you'd let me do some tests on you just to make sure you're okay, but
I'm not about to let you put some devils and spirits in me, so you can go ahead and just give me the paperwork so I can leave.
He just kind of lets out a long, exacerbated sigh and hands you over a pen. Fine. Get yourself killed while you're at it. Again, I am not recommending this. This is a very bad idea on your part. But you were also dumb enough to find yourself in an explosion at the fucking Double E, so yeah, fuck it, whatever. I'm assuming you signed the form?
Do I sense a tone of discrimination in your voice?
Give me a human int.
That is a 24% out of 60 success.
He definitely had some vitriol when he mentioned the Double E kind of Emerald Estates, and I would say you're detecting a normal level of, I'm just trying to do my job, lady.
Well, this lady knows how to talk her way out of places. So, anyway, I find your presence a little uncomfortable, and I'm feeling a little threatened. Could you leave?
Looks at the other two. Are you also, by any chance, Christian Scientists?
No, but I'm gonna check out if that's okay.
Yeah, I'm also not a Christian Scientist whatsoever, but I do want to get the fuck out of here, so.
Understood. I'll send someone in to kind of process your discharge paperwork again. I don't recommend leaving just yet. You were in, and I can't say this enough, an explosion. Hospital, not a police station, whatever. Kind of knocks his clipboard on the way out of the room, kind of on like the door frame. 2 minutes pass. Older woman comes in and kind of helps you do the discharge paperwork. She mentions several times the hospital is not liable since you're checking yourself out. Anything that happens after this point is if they are not liable for, et cetera, et cetera. Again, the hospital advises against it. Lots of boilerplate. When you collapse outside the hospital, it's not our fucking fault type of stuff going on.
Oh, speaking of which, thank you so much for reminding me. I'm going to need mobility assistance. Can you please get me a wheelchair?
She kind of rolls her eyes and she goes, yes, everyone gets rolled out of here in a wheelchair.
All right, great.
All right, so Mr. You all kind of get dressed and make your way to the hospital?
As we're getting dressed, I just wanted to clarify to the group. Just so you all know, I'm not actually a Christian Scientist. That's just usually my excuse to just not have to deal with this.
Yeah, that was gross, but effective.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely put it in the old list of things to say in the future, but yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, if there's something that hospitals refuse to touch, it's just the ethics battle between them and like religion. So just keep that in your back pocket for any kind of future use.
Yeah, so you get wheeled out of the hospital. They let you out of the chairs, type of thing. Some nurses kind of last-ditch attempt to be like, hey, we don't recommend this, et cetera, but wish you the best of luck. And you find yourself outside of a fairly nondescript, mostly kind of like cement and stucco hospital. You're by the main entrance. There's a pull-in for cars and stuff like that. A lot of old people in the waiting rooms and stuff, but it's a more normal mix. Again, like we'll say 2/3 old people, 1/3 everyone else type of situation. And medical staff and whatnot kind of milling about. A couple people look at you kind of weird as you're getting rolled through. Obviously, kind of story of the people refusing care after the explosion is spread. But yeah, you find yourself out in a, by all measures, totally normal, slightly humid Florida afternoon, as best you can tell.
Okay. So, Rochambeau as to who calls tranche?
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to insist it's one of you that's good at talking.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
God damn it. Okay. What's the contact number? Is it already pre-saved?
Yeah.
I will. Do we have a priority list? Whatever. If there's a priority list and contact numbers, I'll start going through them one by one until I get a response back.
Priority number 1 is you call the number and it does the did kind of error disconnect number, and it does, I'm sorry, the phone number you're attempting to contact has been disconnected. And if it was ever connected to anything, there's probably a fucking box waiting for you at your hotel.
All right. So there is a box waiting at a hotel for us, and that is our means of contact.
Well, that's not good.
Should we go ahead and give Yelena a call? Let her know that we're good, or wait until we get to the box?
Talking about the lady that works at the old person's home?
Yeah, the one that kind of blew up.
Yeah, I don't know if we really want to call her.
I'll think about it. How are we getting to the hotel?
When do you want to order an Uber?
What else are we going to do at this point?
Does anyone want to put that on their credit card?
Want to get done with this up and get the fuck out of here?
All right, so you call a cab or something to get you to the hotel?
Yeah, I'll just call an Uber and, well, whatever Uber supports 3 of us. So, yeah.
Most cars fit 4 people total, so that's easy enough to do. But yeah, car picks you up, makes your way to the Central Sun Hotel, drops you off. You go in, I assume? As you walk in, a very relieved person at the front desk looks at you and goes, oh, thank God. I assume you want to take the box now?
Yeah, sure.
Lifts the box up from behind the counter, puts it on the counter. It's not a huge box. It's big enough. It's obviously an awkward thing. And it just says in big letters on the side, property of the ATF. He kind of like slides it as far across the counter as he can towards you. Your rooms are 506. Kind of puts some key cards down the counter. I'm so sorry, agents. Can you please get this box out of the lobby?
Yeah, I guess we can do that.
Also, can you please tell your boss you came and picked it up? She is a terrifying woman that's been calling every 3 hours to see if you picked the box up yet. I don't ever want to talk to that woman ever again.
Sure.
The night manager quit because of her.
Sure, we'll go ahead and give her a call.
Thank you so much. Again, like pushes the box as much as he can without knocking it off the counter.
Well, thank you so much for holding on to that. And I'm reading the employee's name tag. Donald, I'll make sure to put you in a 5-star review.
Thank you for choosing the Central Sun Hotel. We hope you enjoy your stay and that you check out soon.
Query just kind of gives him a thumbs up.
He is very uncomfortable with this entire situation. He does not want to be the person that gave you the box.
Starts headed to the elevator.
I'm assuming you grab the box, or should I just grab it? And actually, is the box carrying like heavy enough that it needs to be like carried on a cart, or
No, it can be lifted by people. It's just kind of a little bit awkward to carry.
okay?
All right, so you go up to your room.
Yeah, we'll just go up. Well, whose room do you want to go to then?
You only have one room.
We'll just meet up there, and I guess we're going to open the box at some point.
Yeah. All right, so inside the box are 3 ATF windbreakers, a laptop, 3 cell phones, some ATF IDs, 3 medium handguns, basically a duplicate of all the paperwork you were given at the start of the operation, some maps of Florida, some keys to a rental car, and kind of other kind of basic necessities you might need, like some stack of $20 bills, et cetera, kind of basic stuff one might get at the start of an operation. Also the charger and whatnot for the laptop itself.
Wait, what the fuck is this? Is there more to this? Oh, God.
It looks like the op isn't over, and we still have a job.
What more is there to do? We found the fucking corpse. It went kablooey with like half our team.
We found a corpse, but not the corpse.
Oh,
Allegedly. I think, what was it? The Filipino guy was about to like start doing some stuff. And then, was it you that ripped the windows open?
Yeah, who Who caused that, anyways?
I don't know. I'm crazy. Spur of the moment. I don't remember. It all happened so fast. But anyway, let's not dwell on that. Let's figure out why we have a second part of this operation.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
From the brief minutes that I was inside, I noticed that shit was a little tossed and turned before the explosion. Was there any other point of entry?
Not that you saw.
Here's the thing. If someone nailed that thing, that room board shut, then they would have been caught in the explosion too, unless they let themselves out the window and locked it afterwards.
I'm thinking it was a booby trap, not something that...
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have any reports about what happened between like the last 3 days and now? There's got to be something. Do we have anything on? I'm going to grab the laptop and see if there's anything on there.
Gonna open up the laptop?
Yeah.
All right, so the moment it opens up, it powers on, and it starts dialing a video call number, and after a couple seconds, your handler's face appears on the screen. Well, Operation Group Quandary Mockingbird Rum Runner. Back from the dead, I see. What the fuck happened?
That's what I want to know. We've been out for the last 3 fucking days.
So by my measure, 6 agents went into an elderly housing community and got their asses blown the fuck up. Half your team's dead. You 3 wound up in the hospital miraculously surviving, and there's now a bunch of questions. Oh yeah, by the way, welcome to the ATF. You're conducting an investigation into a believed gas leak at an elderly housing community.
A believed gas leak? That place was fucking booby-trapped.
Listen, I got a team in there as fast as I could to kind of not ask a lot of questions or kind of diminish stuff. You owe that director lady a big-ass apology for keeping your cover at least slightly intact. This is where it falls on you now. We need to figure out what the fuck happened. Either someone's targeting former agents, or this was a trap laid for you, or who the fuck knows. You know the last time I had a bunch of agents waltz into a house and then unearth enough grenades to blow the literal roof off a building?
It's happened more than once.
3 days ago?
Fucking smartasses. Yeah!
All right. Well, here's the thing. We were not able to confirm whether or not the corpse that we found was said corpse of Edward Ackerman. That shit was old as fuck. Not like 101 years old. That was like a mummy.
Kind of perks up at the word mummy. Okay, we can work with this. So you found mummy in old folks' home. Not a lot to go with, but...
No. There's like mummy, and then there's this dude found the Ark of the Covenant, and he got his fucking soul taken.
Oh, so we're talking like a old-ass fucker, not like sheets and bandages Egyptian.
No, we're talking old-ass fucker.
Sorry, and on our line of work, you have to clarify that question. Everyone's okay, cool. So we found an impossibly old person in a retired agent's home, and then the place blew the fuck up.
The window curtain was drawn, which triggered a whole bunch of grenades to then blow the fuck up.
So the place was rigged to go. Anything else you remember, like smells, sights, anything like that?
Sealed from the inside.
And didn't it smell like old people?
Well, it smelled like death.
It smelled like death, for sure.
Any other smells?
Gosh, I try to remember.
Give me an intelligence. See if you can remember.
77 out of 85% critical.
Fresh paint. And it occurs to you that means someone was repainting walls in this house for whatever reason.
Well, it smelled like death, and then I could have sworn it smelled like fresh paint. But, I mean, the place was pitch black, so we couldn't tell exactly what color paint. If you're going to ask me what color it is, I don't know. But it smelled like a ton of fresh paint.
That sounds like they were repairing walls or something like that.
Or maybe they were painting the windows black. Or like, because all the windows except one was blacked out.
True. Yeah, fresh paint and death.
So, like, maybe you could say you were, I don't know, guided towards the booby trap trigger?
Well, yeah.
All right, so whoever this fucker is, they're smart and they planned this. Fun. All right, so case is still open. We don't know what the hell happened to Ackerman. Maybe he's involved, maybe he's not. Maybe he's another victim as part of this. I get it. You lost some coworkers in the field, but I suspect we all have been through something stranger, or at least comparably weird in this career we found ourselves in. So everyone physically okay, got all their organs, got all their fingers and whatnot?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, relatively intact, sure.
Who's that medical bill going to?
Don't worry about it. That one I can give you for a freebie. We'll figure that one out on my end. But yeah, operation hasn't changed. Locate Edward Ackerman, figure out what the fuck is going on down there in Florida, contain, control, whatever the fuck applies to the situation. I'll be real. This is a weird one, even by our standards. Ooky, spooky, weird stuff, that's relatively normal in our kind of line of work. Horrors beyond human imagination, blah, 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 blah. Who the fuck bothers to grenade a house?
While we're online, or while we have you, do you have access to previous team compositions? Is there a known agent that has beef with Edward Ackerman?
The man's 101 years old. Any agents that probably he worked with old and probably couldn't pull something like this off. Also, it's not the type of information we have lying around. I can do some digging, I guess, like if you really want to go down that path, but did this really seem like an inside job? Isn't it kind of, loud and tension grabbing for our line of work?
Yeah, well, if somebody has a bone to pick, particularly possibly with this org, loud would probably also be an objective. Puts light on the situation. We're not exactly a group that likes to be in the spotlight.
That's fair. This would draw a lot of attention and definitely make this operation more complicated. Hence the ATF cover. Figure loud and obnoxious is kind of their department.
Who has access to hundreds of grenades?
That's a excellent question, too. I mean, we could source that type of thing. That's a very good point. Where would one even get their hands in the civilian sector on grenades? Maybe there's some, gun running situation going on in town or some shit like that. I don't know. It's a really good question, actually. You're saying literal hundreds, probably?
Well,
There was a lot.
it sounded like one of those Rube Goldberg machines, but just weird little pops.
Interesting. It was enough to level most of the house. Not the entire thing's gone, but a big chunk of it's gone at this point. Still partially standing, I guess you could say. Yeah, that's weird. That's a lot of grenades. Not a really great use of grenades, though, either, if we're being honest. Thanks for a second. Quick draw. Would you use a grenade to blow up a house?
I guess it kind of depends on the house. Not really that one.
Yeah, it's more of a clearing tactic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, but with enough explosives, you can do anything.
Oh, sure, yeah. Enough gasoline and car parts, and I can do whatever the hell I want, but it's not efficient is what I'm getting at, I guess. This has a desperation or improvised feel to it, I guess, in my experience.
Are you saying it's a little bit more amateur?
Well, I don't know if this was an outside org thing. This kind of seems like it might have been our guy. Might have realized either A, he was dying, or B, he had done something and he was inevitably going to die because the door was blocked from the inside and the place was wired to blow. So knowing that somebody would show up to clean up the mess, maybe it wasn't a mess he thought people could clean up without a lot of explosives.
Not a bad hypothesis to work with, but why he turn into a mummy and dead long enough to be that level of decomposed and withered, I guess, but anything's possible, I suppose.
Was there any previous wellness checks for Edward Ackerman, or was this just the first?
We only do this when a problem arises. You can check with the staff at the Emerald Estates. Maybe they can give you some information on this. You've got all the research. I gave you everything I could type of thing. Time for some good old-fashioned legwork, I guess.
Can do.
You know the drill. If it's worthwhile keeping our hands on, let me know. I can arrange for someone to come scoop it up. But if it's something that requires containment or processing, handle it. As far as we know, Edward Ackerman is still out there, and as at a minimum, we owe it to one of our few that managed to make it to retirement to see if we can get him back or something like that, or at least avenge him. Feels like a poor choice of words, but maybe he has one last contribution to an operation worth running down or something.
Copy that. Is this laptop usable past this phone call?
Oh yeah, it's a normal ass laptop. This whole little connection thing we got going on, that won't work in a few minutes, but yeah, enjoy the laptop, enjoy the windbreakers, enjoy the sidearms. I kind of had to scramble and pull together what I could. The IDs will hold up pretty well, but if You encounter other ATF agents and maybe the FBI, and they run it too, and they kind of put it through the system. It may raise some flags, and the agents we pulled these numbers from may be dead. So, yeah, don't do that.
Covert as covert can be. Gotcha.
You know it. Normal operation procedures, blah, 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 blah. Get it done. Any questions before I sign off?
None from me.
All right. Good hunting out there, and do enjoy Florida, I suppose. The feed dies at that point. It kind of blinks out. It's a normal desktop background at that point.
What a shit show.
I will check what's happening on Associated Press. If anything, my credentials should start kind of getting me at least some sort of collective eyes on the situation.
You a journalist or something?
Or something. I'll kind of flop back onto the bed, plug in my phone, and start researching away.
All right, so what are you looking for exactly? Just kind of getting caught up on current events, like kind of see what's been said about the whole incident in the news, looking for kind of stuff to extrapolate, or just kind of doing a general casing at that point?
First and foremost, I want to find the cover story that is generally accepted, just so that way everyone here is caught up on what the official word is, just so that way we're level with what the fuck's happened and how we are going to associate with it. Next, I kind of want to see if there's any kind of leads or what was found at the explosion site. And then I would like to see if there is any kind of mention of Edward Ackerman, or if there was any other casualty listings that mention our names at all.
Yeah, so this is going to take some time. Like doing all this research will take probably a few hours. Agent Quantity, Agent Quick Draw, you want to go off and do anything else? You're going to help out with this research?
I'm not going to help out with the research, but I am going to see if I can find a place to source some better weaponry just in case.
Sure.
I'll definitely help out with the research.
All right. All right, so Agent Query, Agent Quantity, give me a search.
That is a 71 and a 60% failure for Query.
Can I use criminology since I'm kind of looking for any details about possible crimes and things like that?
Not for this.
No?
That may come later.
I got a 30% out of 24% failure.
I mean, there's a lot of bad reporting on this, like just based on the kind of local news cycle that's actually created a fairly effective smokescreen. But yeah, you managed to piece together some pretty basic information. Like, yeah, the cover story is indeed that there was a gas explosion in a house, like it was a leaky system or something, and the electrical caused it to trip and blew it up. There's a couple people remarking how strange this is because most cooking apparatus and heating stuff in Florida is actually electric based at this point, but also like you see people fighting online about like the superiority of natural gas and like how this was just a fluke. We should bring back natural gas for all these things. It's better, et cetera, et cetera. And people being like, this is exactly why we had to get rid of it. Like, and a couple cover stories being like, yeah, it was probably just some old pipes that got like damaged or something and like were leaking slowly and retrofits, et cetera, et cetera. There's an official statement from the Emerald Estates saying they're truly sorry about this tragic event that they believe claimed at least the life of one of their residents, but like the facility is super secure and safe, et cetera, et cetera. Like they don't foresee this ever happening again. They're already putting in place a variety of upgrades, et cetera, et cetera. Lots of deflecting that's their fault, and honestly, it's not in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. Generally speaking, you have the conspiracy nuts online that seem to think this is some like ridiculous thing or turning it into a whole politicized thing of like, we need to bring back gas because this is what happens to electric stoves somehow, and other people being like, no, we need electric stoves to prevent this from happening again. Most people online seem pretty okay with the idea that like an old person in a safety heavy care facility accidentally blew themselves up using a stove or something like that. Like, not saying it happens all the time, but it happens enough that like it's a plausible, believable thing. There are mentions of at least 3 people perishing as part of this explosion. That part of it's gotten less attention, oddly enough. Like people seem to assume it's like staff, and Emerald Estates has been pretty vague about it, et cetera, et cetera. Most of the stuff you're seeing is people being very factual about the situation, or an older crowd wildly speculating about how this elder abuse or whatever. Like a lot of the static you're seeing on this is actually coming from what you'd assume are other Emerald Estates residents kind of just chiming in with completely obviously wrong information that they're sure about, et cetera, and just kind of further muddying the waters. from a op security standpoint, nature taking its course has done a surprisingly okay job. It does mention that 3 people were pulled out of the wreckage and taken over to the local hospital facility, et cetera, et cetera. There is a statement from a Dr. Asher Elderman about how they did everything they could for the victims on site before transferring to the local emergency hospital facility, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, people have moved on relatively quickly from this. Like, people are still talking about it a little bit, but most people have accepted it's just an accident that happened.
Well, nothing out of the ordinary from a news cycle. We got a vague mention. That's kind of cool, I guess.
I mean, it only took 3 dead bodies, but if anything, I probably could just pull up the Onion and get a better idea as to what's going on over here.
What concerns me, though, is they said they pulled 3 dead bodies. Why didn't they count the 4th? Because there would have been the body that we found and 3 of our colleagues.
Shit, with the way that everything kind of went down, I wouldn't be surprised if that thing turned to dust.
Oh, there's no way it would have gone out to dust. I mean, I can understand, like, it being, like, blown pretty far apart, but, like, they would have checked and, like, there would have been signs of another body that we would have found. And
so you're saying that thing up and left?
Not that it up and left. There's just no mention of it. It's gone. I mean, in any of the report stuff that you found, they only mentioned 3 bodies, right?
I double check. It only says 3 bodies, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 3 bodies.
That doesn't seem weird to you? We found a body. They would have found a 4th. Report should have had a 4th.
That is concerning. What if... Okay, hear me out. Possession. Yes.
All right, walk me through your thought process on this one, because...
Okay.
Possession, yeah.
Okay, so this is going to sound cuckoo fucking bananas, but there was a single body, old as fuck, a trashed apartment where it looked like there was a struggle, and someone nailing the door shut from the inside and booby trapping a window. It's a rudimentary theory. I'm open to anything right now. What if Edward Ackerman died and something animated his body? This might be a concussion talking right now. I'm not 100% certain.
You might need to extend your hospital stay.
We're on the job.
Don't get me wrong. In our line of work, possession is very much a thing. However, just going out of your way to booby trap a place and then possess the body after the fact to just make it go away. Why?
Oh, here's the thing. Because Edward Ackerman is ancient, was the typical slice of American pie. So maybe in his altruescence, he realized that he was going to do some dumb shit and booby trap the room to make sure that whatever was inside doesn't get out. Hold up. Just let me think real quick. Let me just continue simmering. I'm cooking. I swear I'm cooking. Can I do an occult roll to see if there's anything that kind of lines up with my crazy theory?
Yeah.
That is a 16 out of 70% success.
I mean, tons of shit could match that bill. There's tons of stories about American possessions, and possessions just a part of the occult type of thing. Could be ghosts, could be spirits, could be demons. Like, through the lens of the occult, depending on which kind of culture and fable system you go with, there are typically at least 3 or 4 different explanations for possession or someone getting taken over by a spirit or something. You have no way of narrowing that field down, but yeah, possession's totally a thing.
Damn it. Okay.
But also, like, as agents, you've probably never seen a possession. Like, deltagreen field work is not incredibly common, and the chances of you coming across specifically a possession are low, but also given kind of your background and very deep experience with the occult, you've probably read a series of stories about seances and all that stuff, and given the overlap, like, most of it's hoodwink lies and kind of trickery to separate people from their money, but also, like, there is some weird stuff in the history of things, and also given your nature of your work, occasionally you see weird things that have an overlap. Like, by simply being an agent, you would understand the idea that, like, not everything has an explanation that you're familiar with, and, like, maybe there is potentially some truth behind every folktale, but also there's no way you've experienced enough to have any way of narrowing that down.
Okay.
But also, like, at the same time, you would know that, like, some possessions throughout history were people inhaling gas coming out of the earth, tripping balls, and then saying shit in demonic voices because they were just high out of their skulls. Like, possession's an open-ended topic that's been misdiagnosed from everything from bad trips to, more tragically, mental diseases and stuff like that. Like, there's a long history in the occult world of people that were, quote, seers or whatever, just experiencing epilepsy and other unfortunate neurological disorders and diseases that, like, just made them say shit or do weird stuff.
It's not like a deep dive into it, but it could be more than just carbon monoxide. All right. That's what I got out of the roll. Tight. Well, if anything, we could give Yelena a call, at least. How about this? I'm going to give her a ring. You keep researching, seeing if there's anything that comes up.
Yeah, sure. I'll keep looking.
To jump to Agent Quick Draw for a second. This is Florida. There's plenty of places to buy firearms. What are you looking for exactly?
Probably just some rifles and a couple of shotguns.
All of this is easily obtainable type of thing. Like, waiting period is 3 days, but also you have enough, given your background kind of certifications, you can probably speed that process along. Are you looking for maybe a shadier option that, like...
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm kind of looking for something that is difficult to trace.
Yeah. So I'll give you a couple options for that. How are you going about doing that? You kind of like using some of your PMC contacts, or using just kind of general searching of the internet?
I think it's a little bit of both, like PMC contacts, and I have some criminology myself, so using the contacts to, work whoever they know.
All right, so are you kind of putting feelers out, I guess, or are you kind of like actively searching?
Yeah. I'll put feelers out and actively search, but I'm not jumping at any opportunity to buy guns from anybody day one, because I know that's usually a trap.
Yeah, so you get a couple responses. I guess you contact your employer to see if they can hook you up with something, or are you kind of not going down that path just yet?
I mean, I probably get a hold of like a friend that works there.
Yeah, and they kind of say they can maybe do some research for you and see if they can find something for you. They did mention that there's a high chance of them finding something, just given kind of the gun culture of Florida. Maybe there's someone that's trying to sell like a collection or something like that or whatnot. From your criminology aspect, you would also know that if you can find a more criminally leaning part of town, potentially, that might be a source for hardware as well. This takes time, et cetera, et cetera. Who is contacting Yelena?
I guess I'm the people person.
Sounds like it.
All right, so you don't have her contact number, but you do have Emerald State's contact number. You call that?
I do.
Yeah, so it takes some time. You navigate the phone tree, and eventually a very tired woman picks up. Hello, this is Director Yelena Gallardo speaking. Who am I talking to?
Okay, first and foremost, thank you so much for the cover. Second, what else has kind of gone down since the explosion? Who else did you talk to?
Oh, fuck no, not you people.
Excuse us, we almost died.
Yeah, and do you understand the headache that you're almost dying has unleashed on me?
Yes, but it comes with the job, unfortunately. So, like I said, that's why...
What is this job you're talking about? I don't work for whatever weird you're involved in. Patients show up here and I shuffle some paperwork around. Fuck! This is almost as weird as... There's some tapping, et cetera, et cetera. This is almost as weird as Victoria Neffely that showed up a little while back.
Who?
One of our residents. Not to speak poorly of one of our residents, but basically a vegetable. Severe cognitive decline. We have a lot of people here.
Cool. Could you shuffle some of those papers our way or have them ready for maybe some pickup?
I am not doing this on the phone. If you want to talk about this, I will meet you tomorrow, bright and early, 8 a.m. at the front gates. We can conduct this as close to normal as possible. I was told the ATF is now handling this whole situation. I've got fucking terrorist investigations happening at a fucking old folks home.
Yes, you're speaking to an ATF agent now. So it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Now? You're ATF now?
I was always ATF. What are you talking about? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So 8 a.m. tomorrow.
8 a.m. tomorrow. I'll see you then. Just hangs up the phone.
Well, she's not happy with us, but we do have an appointment with her tomorrow at 8.
This will only go well, I'm sure.
Well, I need to have some papers shuffled, as well as if there was any kind of surveillance footage. I would imagine that would be kind of good, seeing as how there was cameras everywhere, to the point where you can't even wipe your ass unsupervised. So ideally, if there was any kind of weird shit that was happening, we could at least watch and track from when the windows were blacked out, right?
Sure, whatever you want to do.
All right. So is there anything else that we need to do today?
I don't know. You're the brains. You're the one that digs up leads.
I am one of the brains, right? Quantity was epsilon, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm probably going to have a concussion nap or a shower and then a concussion nap.
I don't think you should nap with a concussion.
We were unconscious for like a couple of days. I'm pretty sure we're fine now.
You were medically supervised while unconscious with a concussion for 3 days.
I may or may not still have a concussion, but at this point in time, we got a job to do.
All right, whatever. Your call on that one.
Anything come up on your further research?
Do I do a second search or?
What are you looking for exactly?
Well, I was kind of piqued by the idea that there was no mention of the 4 bodies. And so maybe something around that. Maybe if there's anything perhaps I just missed or anything that didn't mention. Like, actually, you know what's kind of angle I want to go with? I know we searched all the news stories and things like that. I want to see what some of the like conspiracy people perhaps said. And maybe there was some insight there. Like some of the more like loose with the truth type of sites.
Sure. Yeah, give me a search.
70 out of 24% failure.
You're not finding much, but at the same time, like this is a relatively recent event. It takes a little bit of time for bad information to kind of take root and spread from there and whatnot. I will say, though, that I'm kind of like researching the bodies aspect of it. An explanation for that might be that about 2 nights before the explosion happened, there were a bunch of reports about some like gunfire activity or something over in a part of town called Ironside. And like it's people being very another night of fireworks over in Ironside and stuff like that. Like we really should clean up that part of town. Very disparaging of a chunk of town, et cetera, and doing a little more research on that, you find it's kind of a more industrial, rough around the edges part of town. Not a lot of people actually live there, but it's lots of like fabrication and other stuff. It's a little bit more of an industry part of the town. It's not really part of the rest of the town. It just kind of already existed prior to people moving here in some ways, or it's the reason people moved here to work there initially, but it's kind of fallen on bad, kind of seedy terms at this point in time.
I turn over to the group and I go, no, I'm not finding anything. However, I don't know if it's related, but apparently a few days before it went down, there was some gunfire not too far away in what looks like a industrial-ish part of it. I don't know, it's related, but considering, explosions and hand grenades, gunfire, I don't know. Might be worth taking a look.
You know what? Sometimes crazy people are right. Let's do it, I guess.
Well, I guess now the question is, do you want to go now or do you want to wait till later?
Why don't you guys look into it a bit more? Lady with the News Connect might have better luck.
You can keep looking, I guess.
Yeah, you're not finding much more tonight, I guess. Like, do you want to pull an all-nighter doing research, or do you want to kind of get some rest and wake up without penalties the next morning?
I definitely want to get some rest.
I'm taking a nap, yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to save my research focus on the footage and evidence from Emerald Estates, so I will go to sleep.
On behalf of all of us at Negative Modifier, thank you for listening, and we do hope you enjoyed this episode. If you are not already a subscriber, please consider becoming one, partially so you do not miss our next episode, but mostly because it helps new listeners find us. In addition to that, if you liked the episode, please consider clicking the thumbs up button below. If you'd like to further support the show, please consider joining us on Discord or becoming a Patreon patron.